Hey YouTube, welcome back to Dwayne's World. So what do bug killers and fertilizers have in common? Well, if you want to find out, you better stay tuned. All right, so welcome back to Season 2, Episode 28 here on Dwayne's World. Very excited about today's episode because it really features a lot of things I love. Mowing, feeding, and killing bugs. So those three things are what we're going to tackle today. I'm going to go ahead and break out the Mclane mower. I'm going to talk to you guys about a common question that I get on the Mclane. So with that, let me go ahead and show you guys the Mclane. All right, guys, so for those of you that are new to reel mowing, this is a 20-inch, 7-blade Mclane GR series mower. Now, it does have a Briggs and Stratton 550E motor. The Honda GX motor is absolutely my favorite motor when it comes to reel mowers. However, this 550E Briggs & Stratton has definitely proven itself since the time I've owned this particular Mclane. Now, it does have a groove roller that is not necessarily manufactured by Mclane. It's actually manufactured by California Trimmer. I was able to adapt a groove roller, which is a split roller design from the California Trimmer, and use the Reel Roller's bracketry system to be able to put it all together. Now, one of the things I just want to focus on that I keep getting a lot of questions on is this particular modification that I've made to my Mclane mower. All right, guys, so let me kind of talk to you guys in a little more detail here about this grass catcher hack. Now, first and foremost, full disclaimer, I did not create or invent this grass catcher hack. In fact, I found it on Facebook by a member on the Mclane forum. And the purpose of the hack is to allow a repositioning of the grass catcher. Now, you may be wondering, well, why would I need to do this? Well, if you happen to have a Reel Roller's front groove roller or front smooth roller, you'll find that a lot of times, especially the lower you mow, the grass catcher interferes with that front roller. So what you'll find that this hack does, it allows you to reposition the grass catcher so it doesn't interfere with the front roller. One of the things I absolutely appreciate and love about this particular hack is the fact that it does no permanent modification to your Mclane mower. That's very important to me, especially because of the fact that I want to maintain the integrity of the way the manufacturer intended this reel mower to actually work. So with that, let me talk to you guys and walk you through how you actually install this grass catcher hack on your individual Mclane. Show you the problem you'll have whenever you're trying to use your grass catcher without this particular hack. Now, as we all know, the grass catcher attaches to those points there. But let me kind of zoom in here now. All right, guys, so hopefully it's coming out on the camera here, but if you notice the design of the Mclane grass catcher, it has this big opening right here. And the purpose of this opening is actually for the caster wheels to be able to sit. However, in the center part of the grass catcher, you'll notice that there's this bump out. And right now, it does clear my particular roller. However, I do have my height of cut set higher. Let me show you what happens when I actually lower the height of cut. All right, so let me kind of reposition here, but hopefully you can see now the actual roller is coming in contact with the bottom of the actual grass catcher. Now that's a problem, obviously, whenever you're trying to mow and catch your clippings. So now let me show you the purpose of the grass catcher hack. So in my description below, I'm going to include a list of what parts you're going to need to pick up in order to make this installation possible. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and disassemble this just for the sake of this video, but it's very, very simple once you get all your parts. What you're going to notice whenever you do not have this hack installed, you're basically going to have a bolt with the nut here that basically attaches this bar to the mower. Once you go ahead and remove the factory one, you're going to replace it with a much longer bolt. That bolt is 1/4 inch by 2 inches. Behind that, you're going to use a serrated nut. So in essence, you're basically going to recreate what the manufacturer had in place prior. But now what you're going to have is you're going to have a long bolt here that's actually coming across behind the actual factory mounting point for the grass catcher. All right, so let me go ahead and reposition my camera just to show you guys a slightly different angle. All right, so once you have this portion of your actual bolt installed, now what you're going to do is you're going to pick up a nylon sleeve that actually slips over the majority of that 2-inch bolt. And then at the end here, it's just secured with a locking nut. Now, all of these parts you can find very simply at Home Depot, at Lowe's, or Ace Hardware because they're not uncommon parts and it'll be very, very easy to be able to pick up and be able to complete that particular modification. So with that, the only other thing I would add is this hack does work both on the 20-inch or the 25-inch Mclane for those of you that are curious. So as you guys can see here, the grass catcher is attached to where it should be based on where the manufacturer set up those brackets. What the grass catcher hack allows you to do is, if you notice, those little nylon bushings that now sit behind that particular bracket. Now when I go ahead and use that as my particular mounting point, see here, now that the grass catcher is actually sitting further back, not on this factory hook, but actually now on this nylon bushing, it does actually tilt your grass catcher a little bit further back. But let me show you more importantly where you see the most benefit. All right, so now as you guys can see here, even though I cannot get my finger underneath the grass catcher, with that new position, it allows me to be able to move the roller with no problem and no interference with the grass catcher. Okay guys, I just wanted to mention something here before we wrap up the grass catcher hack. If you do plan on doing this hack, you're going to want to also adjust the actual grass catcher. When looking at the grass catcher here, as you guys can see in the photo, there's a couple of mounting points, and all you simply do is back off on the bolts that connect the catcher to the actual hardware. By doing so, this will allow you to be able to move the bar either closer or further away, and this is really going to help you guys be able to set up your catcher to really have the best fit to the Mclane mower. Hope that helps. And with that, let's go ahead and get on to the mow. All right, so let me just jump in here for a moment here. A lot of people have asked me, whenever I do a cut, can I please show the height of cut? And I forgot to do that before I started mowing, so I want to show you guys. If you see here, my height of cut is 1 notch lower than the top setting whenever you're using the top axle spacer on the Mclane. That's my height of cut. I'll go ahead and put on the screen here what the actual height of cut is based on the manual, but I'm guessing it's probably about 7/8. All right guys, let me just jump in here for a moment. So I think a lot of people have this question, and I still get it from time to time, is Dwayne, should I go ahead and bag my clippings, or is it better just to return that back to the lawn? Because as you guys have noticed in this video, I went ahead and chose to bag my clippings. So why is that? Now, I would say generally when I'm mowing the lawn, I do not bag. I like to go ahead and just return those nutrients back to the ground. However, why I'm choosing to bag today is because of all the spurge I got in my lawn. So that is something to always keep in mind whenever you're deciding whether or not you want to bag or not, is depending on the weeds you have in your lawn. Especially if you're dealing with crabgrass right now and you haven't been able to kill it off, a lot of those seed heads will go back in the ground and regerminate next year unless you use a pre-emergent. So it's really, really important, especially if you have crabgrass or other weeds, go ahead and bag those clippings. That's going to help you prevent as much of those weeds from spreading as possible. So with that, let's get back to the mow. All right, guys, so truth be told, I think this year I have not mowed and been out in the lawn as often as I have been in years past. I know it sounds crazy. Generally I've been only out in the lawn 3 to 4 times a week during the summertime. But this year it's probably been more like twice a week, to be honest. It's just been really tough. A lot of things going on in life, a lot of things going on at work. Nothing bad, just really, really busy. Also, too, this year it's been unseasonably hot. But also, too, I want to be safe. It's been 110 degrees outside, a lot of days this year. And I know there's lots of parts of the country that are like that. So always remember, use sunscreen, stay hydrated. If you are going to be out in the lawn, do it in a way that's going to keep yourself safe. So with that, let's go ahead and take a look here at the lawn. Not bad, not too bad. Let me go ahead and turn it around, give you guys a better look. All right, guys, so the Mclane laying it down today definitely got some great stripe action going. One of the things I will say is the color is not necessarily as vibrant as it's been in the last couple weeks. But that's okay, because probably in the next day or two, I'm going to go ahead and throw down some PGF Complete. I think that's definitely going to be able to give it a nice green pop. I need to put down my PGR and liquid fert, so that's probably also going to add. So I think the lawn in about another week or so is absolutely going to look on point. However, one of the things I want to point out that I keep pointing out over and over again is anytime your lawn isn't looking its best, mow it. When I came out to the lawn today, I kind of said, geez, does not look very good. But now, just because I mowed it, it's all level and there's stripe action, it just looks great. I'm definitely proud of the way the lawn looks now and be more than happy to show this off to all you guys. If it wasn't looking that great, I'd still show you guys. But I think it's just another example of where the importance of getting out to the lawn and maintaining that height of cut and maintaining that great color. All right, guys, so what I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and throw down 2 separate applications. One is a fertilizer, my go-to fertilizer, Anderson's PGF Complete. Formulation is a 1608, which means it has no phosphorus, 16% nitrogen, and 8% potassium. I absolutely love this fertilizer. It works really, really well, especially if you're using a spoon feeding technique when it comes to feeding your lawn. But probably my favorite thing about the Andersons is the pearl size. If you have Bermuda grass, you absolutely want a smaller pearl size so it gets down into the canopy so it can go to work. The other product I'm going to be using today is Ortho's Bug Killer. So one of the things I did mention in some of my prior videos is it's really hard for me to get a high quality insecticide be able to be sent to me here in Southern California. With that being said, I tend to go with a lot of big box options when it comes to insecticides. They definitely work. The one thing I would say is the concentration tends not to be as strong as a professional grade. However, if you do multiple treatments throughout the growing season, you'll have really good success if you choose to go with any one of these Ortho products. So with that, let's go ahead and throw it down. One of the ways I like to be able to measure out my fertilizer, as you guys can see here, I have a bucket and it's about 18 pounds here. Now I didn't zero out the bucket, but the bucket weighs 1.8 pounds. So it leaves me a little bit over 16 pounds, which is actually perfect whenever I'm looking at 2.3 pounds per 1,000 square feet based on my lawn. It's about 7,000 square feet. I'll go ahead and link the scale here that I picked up on Amazon if you guys want to pick one up. It's basically a luggage scale that works really well when you combine it with the 5-gallon bucket. All right, guys, so let me just jump in here on the video for a minute here and talk to you guys about if it's safe to apply both the herbicide and insecticide at the same time. Now, when I say at the same time, I don't mean within the same application, meaning you should not be mixing your fertilizer with your particular insecticide. Do two separate applications. What basically allows them to work together but work independently is the fact that they both need to be watered in. And that is normally the rule that I follow when it comes to applying anything to my grass, is whether or not products need to be watered in or they don't need to be watered in. And that ultimately makes me decide whether or not I can do two treatments at the same time. I'm a big fan of whenever I can combine certain applications wherever it makes sense. Now, generally the rule I like to follow that works well for me, but may not be in every example, is whether a product needs to be watered in. So with that, I hope that helps, and let's get back to the rest of the video. All right, guys, so one tip I forgot to mention: anytime you're pouring into your hopper, do not do it over the grass. Do it on some concrete or something, so that way, just in case anything spills, you can go ahead and sweep it up. Otherwise, you could have some pretty bad fertilizer burn. All right, so I have about 18 pounds here in the hopper. It's going to be a little bit less than what I need, but that's okay. I'm going to just dial down the rate a little bit. So normally I spread this at about 3 pounds per 1,000. It's going to be a little bit less today. I think I'm okay. You know, it hasn't been that long since I've done my last fertilizer treatment. So this is probably going to be closer to 2.5 pounds, 2.7 pounds per 1,000. So either way, absolutely love the PGF Complete. So let's go ahead and throw it down. All right, guys, let me just jump in here for a minute. Ignore the palm branch on the right side here that needs to be cut down. But one tip I like to use is anytime I have the ability to throw down any type of granular when there's dew on the lawn, that is what I prefer to do. The purpose of the dew is to be able to show me where I've been, and so I can maintain even coverage throughout the lawn. Now, on times where I do not have dew like I don't today, I basically ran my spreader in two different directions. Now, once going this way when I put down the insecticide, but now going this way when I've actually put down the PGF Complete. One of the things that helps me be able to make sure I have even coverage is the stripe action. The stripe action can act as a guide, you know, so you can follow your lines. So don't think stripe action isn't just for looks, it's also functional. So you may be curious, well, Dwayne, why are you actually throwing down an actual insecticide during this time of year? You know, I think generally most of the time we'll apply an insecticide during the month of September because of the fact that you'll get grubs during that time of year. Now, even though I still plan on throwing down another treatment next month, I just have so many bugs in my lawn right now that I can tell, and I think it's mainly just because of the heat. So that's why I'm choosing to actually throw down this insecticide. So I hope that answers the question if you guys were thinking about it. Now, I've never done a video on my Eagle backpack blower, but I'll be honest, I am not happy with that backpack blower. Most of the time I go ahead and use my handheld blower, and that tends to work really, really well. I really like that one. It's only a 530 CFM, but it works really well for me. You know, I know there's stronger ones on the market now, but you know, I've always had really good success with that, even with the 2.5 amp hour battery. But for some reason, that backpack blower really just doesn't give me the power that I want. not only does it not give me the power, it also has not been reliable. Since I purchased it, I really kind of regretted it afterwards, but I never returned it. I ended up keeping it and rarely used it. And then I started using it a couple times here or there and actually had some problems with it and had to go in for warranty service. After going into warranty service, I was told if I continually use the turbo button, it's going to void the warranty. And I thought to myself, that's kind of crazy. Number one, I don't even really use that backpack blower very much. So even for me to have excessively used the turbo button, that couldn't have happened. Number two, when you're using it, you almost have to use the turbo button just because of the lack of power. I'm not wanting to knock Ego by any means. I absolutely love all of my Ego products. Just the backpack blower has been a little bit more frustrating. It could be just a one-off with the one I have. So maybe there's others out there, and you can go ahead and comment down below if you do have one of those Ego backpack blowers and really love it. It could just be my situation. So again, I absolutely love the Ego products. Now, if anything, if I ever decide to upgrade, I'll probably upgrade to a handheld, stronger model that they have today. Now, one of the things I want to do, let me go ahead and turn the camera around here. So one of the things I want to just point out here is you guys probably saw when I was spreading my granular, these blue marks all throughout the lawn. The blue marks is actually from Celsius, where I used some marker dye to be able to control some spurge. Now, as you guys can see here, I have a lot of spurge in my lawn, so hopefully the Celsius, which I believe it will, be able to knock it out. I went ahead and used the medium rate, which is I think 2.4 grams per thousand. I probably could have blanket sprayed because it kind of looks like I did that, but I did do a spot treatment. Now, the only reason I'm even bringing this up is because sometimes people ask the question, Dwayne, how long do I have to wait before I can actually water my lawn if I've applied a herbicide? Now, if you read the label I believe says about 6 to 8 hours of dry weather. If you had rain that night and you sprayed it in the morning, you're probably okay. I like to wait about 24 hours before I go ahead and irrigate my lawn. But because of the fact I threw down the Insecticide and the PGF Complete, both of which should be watered in, it's been about a day since I've thrown down this herbicide, so I should be in good shape. All right, guys, so I really hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I know it was a lot of information, everything from the Mclane Grass Catcher hack to throwing down the PGF Complete to the stripe action to the Insecticide. I know that was a lot of information, but that's why I put chapters in my YouTube videos. So that way you don't have to watch all of it. You can skip around, watch it all through, but I definitely appreciate your support. And as always, be excellent and party on.